I was born and raised in a wealthy family in a small town where everyone knew each other. My home was on a quiet street, surrounded by lush green trees and a garden full of vibrant flowers. My father, Mr. Smith, was a successful businessman, while my mother, Mrs. Smith, was a gentle and caring woman. They always made time for me, teaching me about life and how to be a good person. My life was filled with joy and laughter. I remember the evenings when we gathered around the dinner table, enjoying delicious meals and sharing stories. My father often told me valuable life lessons, while my mother always encouraged me to pursue my dreams. I felt like the luckiest person in the world, but everything changed on a fateful night. It was a stormy evening when I was focused on studying for an upcoming exam. The rumble of thunder outside made me feel uneasy, but I tried to concentrate on my books. My parents had gone out to a friend's party. I had told them to be careful, but they just laughed and reassured me not to worry. As the night wore on, my anxiety grew. I called them, but no one answered. A wave of unease washed over me. Suddenly, the phone rang, and I hurried to pick it up. A familiar yet unrecognizable voice came through. It was a friend of my father's who informed me that my parents had been in a car accident. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. My heart felt like it had stopped, and everything around me went dark. I rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. My parents were gone forever, leaving me alone in this world. My dreams and hopes shattered in an instant. The funeral took place in a somber atmosphere, with friends and neighbors coming to say goodbye. The pain of loss made me feel like a ghost, wandering among those around me while no one knew of my suffering. I stood by my parents' grave, tears streaming down my face, wondering if life had any meaning left. After their death, I had nowhere to go. The house I once called home had become a place filled with sorrowful memories. I decided to leave the town, wandering in search of a place to forget my pain. I traveled from city to city, taking on various jobs just to survive. I became homeless, relying on the charity of others. During those long, lonely nights, I often dreamed of a girl named Lily. She appeared in my dreams like a bright light in the darkness. Lily had a radiant smile and gentle eyes, making me feel at peace whenever she showed up. She told me that I was not alone, that there was another path for me. Each time I woke up, I felt as if I had experienced something magical. I began to search for information about Lily, but no one knew who she was. She only appeared in my dreams, like an angel guiding me. I decided to seek out the remnants of my parents, hoping to find something to hold on to in my life. One day, while sitting by the roadside, an old friend of mine passed by. He recognized me and stopped. We had once studied together, but now I was just a drifter with nothing to my name. He asked how I was doing, and I told him what had happened. He listened intently, his eyes filled with sympathy. "Jack, there might still be some assets left from your parents. Why not go back home and look for them?" he suggested. Those words felt like a ray of light in the dark night. I decided to return to my hometown, where I once had beautiful memories. Perhaps that place would help me find myself again. I took a bus, my heart filled with excitement and anxiety. As the bus rolled along, I looked out the window, seeing familiar sights gradually appear. The rows of trees, the old houses, all evoked memories of a happier time. I felt like I was returning to myself, even though the pain of loss still lingered. I decided to start anew. I would take care of the garden my parents had built, planting and living a simple life. Perhaps if I tended to it, I would find a part of my parents in every flower, every leaf. And maybe Lily would return in my dreams, guiding me toward a brighter future. As I began my work, memories of my parents surfaced in my mind. They had taught me how to plant and care for the garden. I remember the afternoons we spent watering the plants, laughing, and sharing stories. I felt as if they were beside me, encouraging me to keep living and not give up. I started to adapt to my new life, and during this process, I met a girl named Emily. She was the daughter of a neighboring family, and from the very first meeting, I felt a special connection. Emily was cheerful, enthusiastic, and always willing to help others. She often visited my garden, assisting me with the plants and chatting. Gradually, our feelings for each other blossomed. Emily helped me through difficult times, bringing me joy and hope. She encouraged me to keep working and not give up on my dreams. I felt like I had found a soulmate, someone who understood the pain I had endured. As we tended to the garden together, we shared many stories about life, dreams, and aspirations. I felt like I was coming back to life, and hope gradually returned to my heart. Emily helped me realize that life still held many beautiful things, and I didn't have to live in the past. But the winds of fate are not always gentle. One day, I encountered Nathan, a greedy real estate investor who intended to seize my parents' property. He appeared with a polished exterior, but his eyes were filled with ulterior motives. Nathan approached me with promises of helping me manage the estate, but I sensed something was off. "I can help you turn this garden into a luxurious resort," he said with a confident smile. But deep down, I felt a rising unease. I didn't want to transform this place into a commercialized area where my parents' beautiful memories would be erased. I declined Nathan's offer, but he wasn't easily deterred. He began to pressure me, trying every means to persuade me to sell the land. I felt threatened, but I couldn't let him take away what my parents had left behind. Despite this, I remained determined to stand my ground. I wouldn't let Nathan or anyone else destroy what my parents had built. I had found a reason to live, and I would protect it at all costs. During the long nights, as I lay in bed, I dreamed of Lily again. She always appeared with her radiant smile, like a guiding light. "Jack, believe in yourself. Trust that everything will be all right," she said. Those dreams gave me the strength to keep fighting. I knew that many challenges lay ahead, but I was ready to face them. I wouldn't let the past defeat me. I would live for my parents, for the beautiful memories they had left behind. And above all, I would live for myself. As the sunlight streamed through the window, I felt as if I were being reborn. I would start anew, and this time, I wouldn't be alone. I had Emily by my side, and I had my dreams. I would not give up. As I began to tend to my parents' garden, my dreams of Lily became increasingly vivid. She was no longer just a shadow in my memory. She was a soul searching for something, and I felt a growing sense of responsibility to help her. Every night, as darkness fell, I lay in bed, anxiously awaiting the arrival of my dreams. In my dreams, Lily appeared with eyes full of meaning. "Jack," she said, "you need to uncover the past of this place. There's something unresolved." I woke up with my heart racing. Perhaps Lily's messages were not just dreams. I decided I would delve deeper into the garden, where souls had lived and loved. Maybe the mysteries waiting for me would reveal themselves. One afternoon, I began clearing the hidden corners of the garden, where overgrown bushes had obscured what lay beneath. As I dug into the earth, a small, weathered wooden box emerged. It was old and tarnished, yet still intact. I opened it to find several strange objects: faded letters, a ring, and a photograph of a young couple. I felt a powerful connection to these items. The letters spoke of love and their dreams. They had lived and loved here, and now they were trying to reach out to me. I decided to preserve these mementos so no one would forget them. That night, I dreamed of Lily again. "Jack, you need to do more. Something is threatening this garden," she said, her expression serious. "Find out about a man named Nathan. He is not a good person." A chill ran down my spine. Nathan, the man who had approached me with promises of turning the garden into a luxurious resort. He didn't just want to take the garden. He might be searching for the secrets I had yet to uncover. The next morning, I resolved to learn more about Nathan. I spoke to the neighbors about him. They told me that Nathan was a well-known real estate investor, but also a greedy man willing to do anything to achieve his goals. He has destroyed many other places to build resorts, one neighbor said, her voice filled with worry. "We can't let him do the same to this garden." I felt as if I was standing on the brink of a battle. This garden was not just a repository of my parents' memories. It was a sanctuary where souls had lived and loved. I couldn't allow Nathan to take it from me. When I returned home, my dreams of Lily continued. She appeared once more, but this time her eyes were filled with concern. "Jack, be careful. He is watching you," she warned. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I couldn't let myself become Nathan's target. I decided I needed to find a way to protect the garden. I began to plan a small ceremony to honor the souls who had lived here. I wanted to create a sacred space where people could feel the presence of the spirits and unite to protect this place. Emily, my close friend, fully supported this idea. "That's a wonderful idea, Jack. We can invite the neighbors over, pray together, and share stories about the garden," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. I started preparing for the ceremony. I decorated the garden with fresh flowers and lit candles to create a warm atmosphere. As the day of the ceremony approached, I felt a mix of excitement and hope. The neighbors had agreed to come, and I knew they cherished this garden just as much as I did. On the day of the ceremony, the atmosphere grew heavy and tense. As people arrived, I sensed the presence of the souls. We lit candles together and prayed for those who had lived here. I felt a powerful energy surrounding us, as if the spirits were listening and protecting us. After the prayers, everyone began sharing their memories of the garden. There were joyful stories, but also sorrowful ones about loss and sacrifice. I felt as if I had created a space for connection, where everyone could feel the love and presence of the souls. As the ceremony concluded, I felt relieved and happy. I had done the right thing, and I knew the spirits who had lived here were grateful to us. But I also realized that Nathan would not give up easily. He would find a way to seize this garden. That night, as I slept, I dreamed of Lily again. She stood before me, her expression resolute. "Jack, prepare for a battle. He doesn't just want the garden. He seeks the secrets you hold," she warned. "Trust in yourself and never give up." I awoke with a sense of urgency. Perhaps this was the moment to stand up and protect what I loved. I wouldn't let Nathan or anyone else destroy what my parents and the souls who had lived here had left behind. The next morning, I decided to confront Nathan. I had to face him. I couldn't allow him to continue threatening my garden. I made my way to his office, where bright lights shone and the air buzzed with competition. As I stepped inside, Nathan sat behind his desk, a smug expression on his face. He looked at me with disdain. "Jack, are you here to beg me not to touch the garden?" he mocked. "No, I'm here to tell you that I will never sell the garden," I replied, struggling to keep my voice steady. "This place is not just land. It's my parents' memories and the spirits that have lived here." Nathan scoffed. "You think those memories hold any value? I will turn this into a luxurious resort, and no one could stop me." Anger surged within me, but I knew I had to remain calm. "Listen to me, Nathan. If you continue to threaten this garden, I won't hesitate to stand against you." "Go ahead and try," he said, his eyes glinting with challenge. "I won't back down easily." As I left his office, anxiety swelled within me. I knew Nathan wouldn't give up, and this battle had only just begun. But I also knew I wasn't alone. I had Emily by my side, and I had the spirits watching over me. That night, as I lay in bed, I dreamed of Lily once more. She stood beside me, her gaze fierce. "Jack, get ready for what's to come. You have strength within you. Trust in yourself," she urged. I woke up feeling renewed. I wouldn't let Nathan win. I would fight for the garden, for the memories and love it held. This was not just my battle, it was the battle of the souls who had lived here. And so, I prepared for the fight, filled with determination and faith in myself. I would not back down, and I would protect this garden at all costs. As dawn broke, I felt a storm brewing on the horizon. My battle with Nathan was not just a typical confrontation. It carried deep mysteries and restless souls yearning for release. I knew I couldn't face this fight alone. The spirit of Lily and the other souls were watching over me, and I needed to find a way to protect the garden they cherished. I decided to seek help from old friends and neighbors. They were the ones who had lived here for years, who understood the stories of the garden and the spirits that once roamed it. I began calling them, inviting them to my home to discuss the current situation. When evening fell, my neighbors and friends gathered in the garden. The air was thick with tension, yet filled with resolve. I stood before them, my heart racing. "Thank you all for coming today. We are facing a significant challenge. Nathan is trying to seize this garden, a place that holds the memories and spirits of those who lived here." An elderly woman, Mrs. Margaret, spoke up, We cannot let him do that. This garden is a repository of love and memories spanning generations. We must stand up to protect it. Everyone nodded in agreement, their eyes filled with determination. We began discussing our plan. I suggested we hold a prayer ceremony to honor the souls who had lived here and to send a message that we would not back down. Exactly. We can invite others from the community to join us. Emily chimed in, her eyes shining brightly. Let's show Nathan that we are united. We decided to hold the ceremony the following weekend. Everyone started preparing, decorating the garden with fresh flowers, lighting candles, and creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. I felt a powerful energy rising within me. As the ceremony approached, my anxiety grew. I knew Nathan wouldn't back down easily, and he might try to sabotage our event. I resolved to stay vigilant and prevent him from having any opportunity. The night before the ceremony, I lay in bed, filled with worry. The dream of Lily returned. She stood before me, her expression serious. Jack, remember that your strength doesn't come solely from yourself. Trust in the spirits and those around you. They will help you. I awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. I knew I was not alone. The spirits were protecting me, and I had to rise for them. On the day of the ceremony, the air was thick with anticipation. Neighbors arrived early to help prepare. I saw flowers placed everywhere, candles lit, and the atmosphere felt warmer than ever. As the ceremony began, everyone prayed for the souls who had once walked this land. Standing in the midst of the garden, I sensed an invisible force surrounding me. I could feel the presence of the spirits, and I knew they were listening. I began sharing stories about my parents, their love, and sacrifices. One by one, neighbors shared their memories, and the atmosphere became filled with warmth and affection. But as the ceremony unfolded, a sudden cold wind swept through, extinguishing some candles. Anxiety rippled through the crowd, and I knew Nathan could be lurking nearby, plotting to disrupt our gathering. I struggled to maintain my composure, but unease gnawed at me. Suddenly, I heard an unsettling noise from the back of the garden. I turned to see Nathan standing there, his gaze filled with malice. He sneered, his tone mocking. "What are you all doing here? A ghostly ceremony?" Everyone around me felt the tension rise, but I knew I couldn't let Nathan ruin this moment. I stepped forward, my gaze unwavering. "We are praying for the souls who lived here. You have no right to disrupt this." Nathan advanced, his eyes filled with hostility. "This garden will belong to me. You can't stop me. We will not give up," I replied, my voice ringing strong. "This place holds our memories and love. You cannot destroy it." He laughed derisively, but in my eyes, he could see my determination. "Let's see, Jack. If you want to fight, I'll show you my power." Nathan turned and walked away, but I knew he wouldn't back down easily. I felt like a storm was approaching, and I needed to prepare for what was coming. After the ceremony, my neighbors and I sat down to discuss what had transpired. "We can't let Nathan continue to threaten this garden," Mrs. Margaret urged. "We need a plan." I knew we had to act swiftly. Perhaps we should hold an annual festival to honor the souls who lived here. This will attract community attention and help us protect the garden. Everyone agreed, and we began planning the festival. We would invite people from the community to join us, sharing stories and memories about the garden. I felt as if we were creating a new force, a unity that Nathan could not destroy. In the following days, Emily and I worked diligently to prepare for the festival. We decorated the garden, cooked delicious food, and created a cozy atmosphere. I felt like I was reliving beautiful moments, and I knew the spirits were watching over us. As the festival approached, my nerves heightened. I knew Nathan wouldn't give up, and he would find a way to sabotage the event. But I also knew I wasn't alone. I had friends by my side, and the spirits were protecting me. On the day of the festival, the atmosphere was vibrant. Community members arrived in droves, enjoying food and sharing stories. I felt as if I were living in a dream, where everyone cherished and honored this garden. But as the celebration unfolded, a sudden chill swept through the air. I turned to see Nathan lurking in the distance, his eyes filled with hostility. Anxiety gripped me, but I knew I couldn't let him ruin our event. I decided to confront him. I approached with determination. "Nathan, stop. You have no right to destroy what we are doing here." He sneered, his gaze challenging. "You think you can stop me? I will take this garden, and no one can prevent me. We will not give up," I declared, my voice strong. "This garden is not just land. It holds our memories and love." Nathan stepped closer, but I stood my ground. "Watch, Jack. I'll show you my power." As he prepared to act, I felt a powerful energy emanating from the garden. The flowers began to sway, as if they were coming to life. I knew the spirits were protecting me. "Don't do anything foolish, Nathan," I shouted. "Let the spirits rest in peace." He paused, confusion flickering in his eyes. "What is happening?" he demanded, but I knew he couldn't comprehend. I felt the presence of the spirits, and I began to pray. "Give me strength, protect this garden." A tremendous force surged within me. As I prayed, the flowers bloomed vibrantly, their light radiating brilliantly. Nathan recoiled, fear etched on his face. "No, this cannot be happening," he screamed. I knew I had tapped into a great power, the power of love and memories. "Leave this place, Nathan. You have no right to destroy what we have built." He turned and fled, but I knew the battle was far from over. I had won this moment, but Nathan would not give up easily. After the festival, I felt a mix of relief and anxiety. I knew I needed to prepare for what was to come. Nathan would seek revenge, and I had to be ready. In the days that followed, Emily and I worked tirelessly to protect the garden. We implemented safety measures, and I began researching Nathan to learn more about him. One evening, as I sat in the garden, I dreamed of Lily again. She stood before me, her gaze fierce. "Jack, be careful. He will not give up. Prepare for what is to come," she warned. I awoke with a sense of urgency. I knew this fight was not over, and I needed to prepare for what lay ahead. I would not let Nathan destroy what I had built. As the sun rose, I felt a new strength filling my heart. I would stand up to protect the garden, for the souls who had lived here, for my parents, and for myself. This battle would not be easy, but I was ready. And so, my journey continued, filled with dreams, memories, and a love I would never forget. Each passing day, I felt the confrontation with Nathan drawing closer. He was not just a greedy man trying to seize the garden. He was a real threat to the souls that had once lived here. I couldn't let him destroy what my parents and those who came before them had built. In the days that followed, I dedicated my time to learning more about Nathan. I asked neighbors, scoured documents, and searched social media for information. From what I gathered, Nathan was not just a real estate investor. He had a mysterious past. He had been accused of numerous scams and vandalism, but always managed to evade punishment. One afternoon, while I was in the garden, Emily came over. "Jack, I feel like something is off. Nathan won't give up easily. He might be planning something," she said, her tone filled with concern. "You're right. We need to stay vigilant," I replied, determination swelling within me. "We must prepare for any situation." I decided to hold a meeting with my neighbors to discuss what we needed to do. When evening fell, everyone gathered in the garden. The atmosphere was tense, but filled with resolve. "I've done some digging into Nathan," I began. "He's not someone to take lightly. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." Mrs. Margaret spoke up. "We can't let him harm this garden. It's a place filled with love and memories from generations. Everyone can help each other. Let's protect the garden together," Emily added, her eyes full of determination. We began to devise a plan. Each of us would take turns watching over the garden at night, and we would create a simple alarm system to alert us if anything unusual happened. I felt like we were building a new strength, a unity that Nathan could not destroy. As night fell, I decided to stay in the garden alone to keep watch. The moonlight shone brightly, but the air felt heavy. I sensed the presence of the spirits, and I knew they were protecting me. As darkness deepened, I sat on the grass, listening to the wind rustling through the trees. Suddenly, I heard a strange noise coming from the far end of the garden. I stood up, heart racing. "Is anyone there?" I called out, but only silence answered. I decided to investigate. As I approached the darkened area, a cold breeze swept through, sending shivers down my spine. I saw a shadowy figure standing there. "Nathan, is that you?" I called out. The figure turned, and I recognized Nathan. He stood there, his eyes filled with hostility. "Jack, do you think you can stop me? I will take this garden at all costs." He shouted. "You can't do that. This is a place filled with memories and love." I replied, my voice strong. Nathan stepped closer, his gaze challenging. "You don't understand, Jack. I will not back down. I will destroy everything you hold dear." As he prepared to act, I felt a surge of strength rising from within. I couldn't let him continue to threaten the garden. "Stop, Nathan. If you go through with this, I won't hesitate to stand against you." He laughed mockingly, but I could see the flicker of anxiety in his eyes. "You don't know who you're dealing with," he said, then turned to leave. I felt like I had just escaped a nightmare, but I knew the battle was far from over. Nathan would not give up easily, and I needed to prepare for what was coming. The next morning, I decided to seek help from those experienced in protecting property. I visited an old friend of my parents, Mr. Thomas, a once renowned lawyer in the area. Though he was retired, I knew he could offer valuable assistance. When I met with him, I explained the current situation. He listened intently, then said, "Jack, this garden may have wonders you've yet to uncover. There might be ways to protect it that you haven't considered." "What do you mean?" I asked, feeling a spark of hope. "You should look into the history of the garden, about the souls who lived here. They might help you," he suggested. I felt inspired by his words. "I will do that. Thank you, Mr. Thomas." Returning to the garden, I began researching the history of the place. I sifted through old documents, searching for forgotten secrets. I discovered that this garden had once hosted many important festivals and events for the community. One evening, while examining old photographs, I stumbled upon a picture of a grand ceremony held in the garden. The people in the photo were smiling, their faces radiating happiness. I felt as though I was touching a piece of the past, a time when love and unity thrived. I decided to organize a ceremony to honor the souls who had lived here and to restore the values the garden represented. I wanted everyone in the community to participate so they could feel the Spirit's presence and join in protecting the sacred place. When I shared this idea with Emily, she was thrilled. "That's a fantastic idea, Jack. We can invite community members to join us and pray together." We began planning the ceremony. I felt a powerful energy swelling within me, and I knew the spirits were watching over me. As the day of the ceremony approached, I felt nervous yet hopeful. I decorated the garden with fresh flowers, lit candles, and created a warm atmosphere. When people arrived, the air buzzed with excitement and affection. The ceremony began, and everyone prayed for the souls who had lived here. I felt an invisible force surrounding us. The flowers bloomed, and the light from the candles shone brightly. Standing in the center of the garden, I sensed the Spirit's presence. I started sharing stories about my parents, their love, and sacrifices. One by one, neighbors shared their memories, and the atmosphere grew warm and heartfelt. But as the ceremony unfolded, a sudden chill swept through the air. I turned to see Nathan lurking in the distance, his eyes filled with malice. Anxiety gripped me, but I knew I couldn't let him ruin this moment. I decided to confront him. I approached with determination. "Nathan, stop. You have no right to destroy what we are doing here." He sneered, his gaze challenging. "Do you think you can stop me? I will take this garden, and no one can prevent me." "We will not give up," I declared, my voice ringing strong. "This garden is not just land. It holds our memories and love." Nathan stepped closer, but I stood my ground. "Watch, Jack. I'll show you my power." As he prepared to act, I felt a powerful energy emanating from the garden. The flowers began to sway, as if they were coming to life. I knew the spirits were protecting me. "Don't do anything foolish, Nathan," I shouted. "Let the spirits rest in peace." He hesitated, confusion flickering in his eyes. "What is happening?" he demanded, but I knew he couldn't comprehend. I felt the presence of the spirits, and I began to pray. "Give me strength, protect this garden." A tremendous force surged within me. As I prayed, the flowers bloomed vibrantly, their light radiating brilliantly. Nathan recoiled, fear etched on his face. "No, this cannot be happening," he screamed. I knew I had tapped into a great power, the power of love and memories. "Leave this place, Nathan. You have no right to destroy what we have built." He turned and fled, but I understood that the battle was far from over. I had won this moment, but Nathan would not give up easily. After the ceremony, I felt a mix of relief and anxiety. I knew I needed to prepare for what was to come. Nathan would seek revenge, and I had to be ready. In the days that followed, Emily and I worked tirelessly to protect the garden. We implemented safety measures, and I began researching Nathan to learn more about him. One evening, as I sat in the garden, I dreamed of Lily again. She stood before me, her gaze fierce. "Jack, be careful. You will not give up. Prepare for what is to come," she warned. I awoke with a sense of urgency. I knew this fight was not over, and I needed to prepare for what lay ahead. I would not let Nathan destroy what I had built. As the sun rose, I felt a new strength filling my heart. I would stand up to protect the garden, for the souls who had lived here, for my parents, and for myself. This battle would not be easy, but I was ready. Summer had arrived, and the garden was bursting with life. The flowers bloomed vibrantly. The trees stood lush and green, yet a gnawing anxiety nestled deep within me. Nathan had not given up, and I sensed he was quietly orchestrating a final assault to claim the garden for himself. One afternoon, as I tended to the plants, an unexpected call from Emily jolted me. "Jack, you need to get here right now. Nathan is nearby." Her voice trembled with fear. I raced to Emily's house. When I arrived, I found her standing by the window, her expression fraught with panic. "He's at the end of the street, watching us. I can feel he's planning something," she said, her voice shaking. "We have to stay alert," I replied, determination surging within me. "We cannot let him destroy this garden." I decided to call an emergency meeting with our neighbors. As everyone gathered, the tension in the air was palpable. "Nathan is back, and he won't back down," I announced. "We need to prepare for a confrontation." Mrs. Margaret spoke up. "We cannot let him harm the garden. This place holds the love and memories of generations." "Exactly," Emily added. "We need to protect this place at all costs." We decided to hold a prayer ceremony that very night to invoke protection from the spirits and to demonstrate our community's unity. As night fell, the garden was illuminated by flickering candles, creating a warm and sacred atmosphere. Together, we prayed, sending our hopes for the garden and for the souls that once inhabited it into the night. I felt the strength of the spirits surrounding us, and I knew they were watching over us. But as the ceremony unfolded, a chilling wind swept through, extinguishing some of the candles. I sensed a sinister presence. "Nathan!" I shouted, my heart racing. "Stop this!" He emerged from the shadows, his eyes filled with malice. "Do you really think you can stop me? I will take this garden, and no one can stand in my way," he roared. "You have no right to destroy this place." I retorted, my voice ringing with conviction. "This is a sanctuary of love and memory." Nathan sneered, but there was a flicker of unease in his gaze. "Watch closely, Jack. I'll show you my power." As he stepped closer, I felt a surge of energy emanating from the garden. The flowers began to tremble, as if awakening from a deep slumber. I knew the spirits were rallying to protect me. "Stop, Nathan!" I yelled. "If you continue, I won't hesitate to stand against you." He hesitated, confusion etched on his face. "What's happening?" he demanded, but I knew he couldn't comprehend the forces at play. I felt the spirit's presence intensifying, and I began to pray fervently. "Grant me strength, protect this garden." A tremendous power surged within me. As I prayed, the flowers bloomed anew, their light radiating brilliantly. Nathan recoiled, fear overtaking him. "No, this can't be happening," he screamed. "This is a place of love and memory." I asserted, "Leave now, Nathan. You have no right to destroy what we have built." But Nathan was relentless. He pulled something from his pocket, a small generator he had prepared in advance. "I won't let you win," he declared, his tone dripping with defiance. He pressed a button, and a blinding light erupted from the generator. I felt a dark, oppressive force spreading through the air. The flowers began to wilt, and the spirits around me seemed to writhe in agony. "No!" I cried out, desperation flooding my heart. "Return, spirits! Protect this garden!" A fire ignited within me, an unquenchable flame. "I won't let you ruin this place!" I shouted, my voice rising above the chaos, and I began to pray with renewed fervor. The flowers blossomed once more, their light shining fiercely, and I felt the Spirit's strength enveloping me. "Help me protect this garden," I pleaded. As the light from the flowers reached Nathan, he stumbled back, terror etched on his face. "No, this cannot be," he howled. I knew this was the decisive moment. "Leave this place, Nathan. You have no right to be here," I shouted, and the power of the garden surged, forming a barrier of light between us. He tried to advance, but the radiance from the garden held him at bay. "I will not give up," he screamed, but I sensed the weakness in his voice. "This is a place of love and memory, and you cannot destroy it," I declared, and the garden's light erupted, enveloping Nathan in its brilliance. He screamed, and I felt an overwhelming force pushing him away from the garden. Finally, Nathan retreated, fear and desperation etched across his face. "You will pay for this," he bellowed, before disappearing into the darkness. As Nathan vanished, a wave of energy surged through me. The flowers bloomed once again, their light radiating brilliantly, and I knew the spirits had triumphed. Everyone around me exhaled in relief. "We did it," Mrs. Margaret exclaimed, her eyes shining with pride. "This garden will forever be a sanctuary of love and memory." Emily approached me, her gaze filled with faith. "Jack, you did it. We've protected this garden." I felt as if I had just emerged from a nightmare, but I knew the battle was not over. Nathan would not give up easily, and I had to prepare for whatever was coming next. But in that moment, I felt a profound happiness. I had defended the garden, a place that held the love and memories of my parents and the spirits who had once lived here. I knew I was not alone. I had friends by my side, and I had the spirits protecting me. As the sun rose, I gazed at the garden, my heart brimming with hope. I would continue to nurture this place, guarding it against any threats, for it was not just a garden, it was a piece of my soul. And so, my journey continued, filled with dreams, memories, and a love I would never forget. This garden would forever be a sanctuary of love and memory, where the spirits would always live on in our hearts.